Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Providence, where we transform love into action. As you know, they're digging outside, so people may be wandering in as we're going, and that's okay. Welcome to this last Sunday of the regular program year. Next Sunday we won't be here because of Brown graduation, and then we'll be doing flower communion and all of that, and it flies by, doesn't it? So, yes, welcome to this church, welcome to this morning. Wherever you find yourself on life's journey, whatever faith you have found and lost, whatever you wear, whomever you love, come find hope and inspiration with us. You are welcome here. Welcome home. And let me add, it is so good to be together. I haven't done this since Liz returned from sabbatical. Feels kind of nice to be with you like this today. So, yes, it is good to be together on this, the day we have been given. Let us live into it well.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old lay, and who shall bear the starry crown?
unison chalice lighting in your order of service. This light
This morning's invocation is excerpted from Mary Oliver's A Summer Day. I don't know exactly what prayer is, but I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down in the grass, how to kneel in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have been doing? Doesn't everything die at last and all too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild, precious life? Indeed, my friends, this is the life we have been given. May we live well into that too. And speaking of living well and making our hearts happy, this is one of the best times of our service when you all stand and get raucous and move around and greet one another. Say hello to the people at home. Say hello to someone you don't know very well. Good morning.
Looking forward to your service.
Coming. Oh, all right. Friends, please remain standing and grab your orders of service.
Let us recite together the church covenant, which you will find in your order of service. We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Providence, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light we know by many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the larger web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice. And you can remain standing in body or spirit and grab your hymnal for hymn number 21.
Amen.
flow.
Thank you, Roger. I'm co-senior deacon with Charlie Ortman. Oh, sorry. Good morning. When this church year began, we undertook the recreation of a mission statement for which we drew heavily on missions from previous configurations of the deaconry. To fulfill that mission, and especially to gain a sense of the spiritual well-being of the church, we managed a telephone survey of the congregation. We asked 3 basic questions. How are you? How are you with the church? What, if anything, might you want to see more of or less of at the First Unitarian Church of Providence? To a significant degree, although not totally, of course, those responses were very positive and constructive. Accolades, concerns, and suggestions have all been passed on to the appropriate ministers, church staff, and congregational leadership. In short, we asked, you spoke, we listened, we processed and shared what we learned, and it mattered. For all this, we are grateful. As the deacons began our work this year, one of the things we recognized early on is that if we were going to become better known, we would need to be out front and in greater communication with you. That's why we were commissioned by you this fall. That's why we are communicating with you about what we've been doing and what we've been learning throughout the year. And by the way, that is why many of the deacons will be at the church's booth at the Providence Gay Pride Parade on June 17th, and we'll hope to see many of you there that day as well. We would like to thank all of you who have engaged with us. This has allowed us to pay attention to important matters that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. It has allowed us to be more spiritually attuned and connected with one another. With all that, we see some interesting and exciting possibilities are taking shape, so stay tuned. My term as a deacon is ending in June. It has been a pleasure and honor to serve.
Your order of service notes Janice Okumian as one of this ensemble. Janice is under the weather today, and we are very grateful to Catherine Jameson for stepping in at the last minute.
I once was a Baptist, and on each Sunday morn I'd be in church praying, as sure as you're born. We'd sing there like angels in the good harmony. But sin and salvation are no longer for me.
And now we will share the joys and sorrows that connect us in beloved community. Only a few this morning. A candle of joy for the singing of the community band this morning. And don't they make your hearts happy? For sure. A candle of gratitude to Steve McCloy, Holly Dobbs, John Hickey, and Sam Cole for putting on Friday's Trans 101, Identity and Inclusion. It was the beginning of a conversation that I'm sure you'll all get to take part of in the near future. A candle of gratitude for my Chalice Circle, starting my 20th year with this special group, from Kirsty. I'd like us to prepare our hearts and minds for prayer and meditation. Remember, at the end of the meditation, we'll share some silence. If you've lost someone this year, please do stand with us or raise your hand so that we can honor those losses in silent tribute. Let's find our breath. Let yourselves relax. Feel where you're sitting and come to the present moment. Please take a deep breath with me. Another breath. And one more. The words of today's meditation are called Fully Alive from Donna Markova. I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live so that which came to me as seed goes to the next as blossom, and that which came to me as blossom goes on as fruit. Amen. So tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? You, Saint Mary Oliver, as I call her, feels especially compelling to me, really seems to speak to me at this time of year when Brown graduates celebrate their commencement next weekend, right here at First U, while many of us will celebrate Memorial Day, first by honoring fallen soldiers and also reflecting on all those dearly departed in our lives, our families, and our church. This year, we lost some Titan members like Mary Kohler, Helen Haynes, and Shirley Dufresne, to name but 3. And miss them though we do, and miss them though we will, I can't help but wonder how we will honor those we've loved and lost by how we continue to live. It was Queen Elizabeth II, now of blessed memory, who said, "Grief is the price of our having loved." But I think there's more to honoring and remembering our dead than just our grief, which brings me to the maybe not so pretty mayfly that you see on your orders of service. Now, you might remember the mayfly is more or less thought of as the insect with the one-day life. One website sums it up neatly: born, eat, shag, that means have sex, and die. Life should be that simple, eh? Actually, the mayfly typically lives a bit longer than a day, but it doesn't have an especially good time of it. It has an atrophied mouth, so they don't say much. They don't complain either. Mayflies have no legs, but they do have 2 antennae that act like hands. And everything they do is done in flight. And what is it that they do, you ask, besides having sex? They live fast into the fullness of their lives, from ashes to ashes, from dust to dust, from sunrise to sunset. Between these, a whole life fits. Between these, our lives fit. And what a difference a day makes when we wake up to the fact that we too really only have this one day, what some call a present. When I was in seminary, a friend put me onto this website called the Mayfly Project. And this was a website curious about what's happening in people's lives. And the project worked kind of like this. On a specific or special day, maybe New Year's, an anniversary, a birthday, Memorial Day, people were invited to look back over the last 12 months and reflect on what's been constant, defining, important, true for them over the past year. Then, and here's the trickier part, they had to sum up that year's experience in just 24 words. Here's a random post. Started grad school, knitting, Olympics, first car accident, pacemaker, doctor, who, scarf, quit grad school, book deal, first female Speaker of the House. The idea behind this 24 words practice is that by embracing the constraint of brevity, we're caused to re-examine our priorities and to focus on what's really affecting us, on what is really important to us. Now, summing up the last year in just a handful of words gets to the heart of what has really mattered or what could matter. These words can be aspirational, too. On the face of it, this practice probably isn't at all difficult for most Unitarian Universalists, devoted as we are to living the examined and examined and examined life. But then again, the wordsmiths that we are, we may have trouble settling on just a couple of dozen words for that examination. Still, this is excellent preparation for things like making goals, whether those are personal or as a church, like we just did on the big day. Right now, I'm wondering, what would change in our lives if we turned this idea, this reflecting and naming and summing up, what if we turned that into a spiritual practice? What would we make of our one wild life if we embraced the Mayfly way, getting to what is essential about our living, even these last 24 hours? What would be our perspective if we took some time to sum up the beautiful messiness of each single day? If we really lived into the full catastrophe, as Zorba the Greek called it? Could we fly in the face of life, really being fully alive and living more fully and being present, even when our dreams crashed and burned, or relationships failed and life got very hard? Could we stay present enough to savor and taste our food, or even to dance? Living the Mayfly way isn't about giving control of our lives over to other circumstances. For many, the Mayfly way is about taking control of our lives and about honoring the lessons of those who came before us, our guides, our teachers, our dear loves. And we can do this whether times are kind or unkind. Whatever happens, we can always choose to name it, own it, and even celebrate it. I want you to remember this phrase. If you can't fix it, feature it. If you can't fix it, feature it. This one life alert simply means don't fret over what is not, but rather love what is as it is. It's there to show you something, to reveal something, to teach you something. Feature it and get on with it. This is a practice worth commending and commencing because, as Annie Dillard reminds us, how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. We know instinctively there is truth in that statement, just as we know instinctively that it's not how we use our mouths, but how we use our hands that make us who we are. Just as we know instinctively that every time we attend a memorial or funeral, that we are confronted with how to live each day completely, because none of us knows what comes next. So, how do we each want to spend our lives? How will we choose to inhabit our days? I was reminded of an intensely intimate time when I first felt those instincts most fully. It was the first day I met Billy Hourigan. And this was during one of those early trips that John and I took to Ireland all the time, you know, John's motherland. And like always, going to Ireland involved frenzied road trips, visiting family and friends, and trust me, everyone in Ireland is a family or friend. And this was the case with Billy Hourigan, or you could have said Billy Hooligan, described to me as a robust, jolly man in his prime. Now, Billy was a big guy with a twinkle in his eye and the devil on his tongue. Jack the lad, a jokester, the kind of guy who lives life large. So, after having been fully primed about his wacky ways, I visited Billy. I was shocked. The man in front of me was so unlike the man I had imagined. Billy was propped up in a hospital bed, looking pained, very thin, and kind of sad. He'd been totally paralyzed from an accident. Channeling my chaplain days, I became acutely aware of everything happening around me. Unable to speak or move, Billy communicated the only way he could, with his eyes. There was no laughter on his lips, no smiling greetings, and I couldn't help but imagine deep pain in the deeper set lines around his eyes, and his weary and weathered-looking face spoke volumes to me about who Billy is at his core. One blink for yes and two blinks for no had become Billy's way to communicate. But then there was Billy's love language, noted in the few things he looked at all day long. Facing a large window, Billy looked out over the expansive grassy and green hills of Ireland, instantly recognizable as home. As I looked at him more closely, this dark-haired man with light skin, I could see in his eyes that deep in there was still a kind and gentle guy. I could see in his eyes everything that was now wholly on display in Billy's world, all existing on one window ledge. A single photo revealed a hardworking husband and a father of two rascals. Spotting a can of Foster's Lager on the sill, I gathered Billy enjoyed a good stout with his good times. And he liked to smell good, too. I spied one of my favorite brands of cologne there on the shelf. Of course, there was the Celtic cross and the blazing Sacred Heart of Mary, meant to bring something, a blessing, healing, peace, maybe. while I was taking all this in, I was watching Billy's wife gently care for him and love him up, dabbing his brow. As she propped up his pillows, I heard a TV playing across the hall. The commercial's voiceover boomed. The Mayfly. It has only a short time, but look how amazing that time is. Picking up a matchbook and a borrowed pen, I wanted to comfort Billy's wife and kids and friends and me too. So I began to write my impressions of Billy. Tragedy, talking Irish eyes, smile, rolling countryside, doting wife, good kids, stout, strong, gentle man, smells great, hope, love, how brilliantly he lives still. 24 words for Billy Horrigan, living each of his 24 hours with only those things of true importance: family, God, good times, and loving care. There is an old Hasidic story about these 3 rabbis that were in a hurry to reach their destination before sunset of the Sabbath. Riding through a dark and dreary woods, they heard the sound of singing. As they got closer to the sound, they saw a young boy dressed in rags, filthy and malnourished, dancing and singing at the top of his lungs. Astonished, one rabbi said, "Boy, why are you so joyful?" "Because I'm lost and in the woods," the boy answered at the top of his lungs, still singing and dancing. "Why are you dancing?" asked the other rabbi. "Because I'm hungry and I'm scared," was the reply. Now, as you can imagine, the rabbis were a bit confused. Surely any normal person lost and hungry in the woods would not be singing for joy, but crying in fear. The young boy turned to the 3 esteemed rabbis and said, "Teachers, I've been lost in these woods for 3 days now, without food, braving the cold, the robbers, and the wild animals. For the first 2 days, I was very afraid. I cried out in hunger and fear. And then this morning, I woke up and thought to myself, I'm hungry, I'm cold, and I'm scared. But the fact that I can feel my hunger and my discomfort and my fear means that I can see, feel, and participate in the world around me. What a gift! I'm alive." And he started to sing and dance all over again. Now, friends, I know this is counterintuitive, that it seems not to make sense to remain open to wonder or joy or serenity, all at the same time that we are being seared with some deep, inevitable pain, or when we face certain failure. But isn't that precisely when we must attend to life? Today, right now. To fail to get to the essentials of life, to fail to be fully alive despite our ages or stages, is to fail ourselves materially and existentially. It is to be, well, dead inside. Teddy Roosevelt said, Far better is it to dare mighty things than to take rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy nor suffer much, living in a gray twilight that knows neither victory or defeat. We can all choose that same gray twilight, or we can live into the brilliance of each setting sun. All we need do is let go of our addiction to anxiety and our fear of suffering and get to it. All we need do is put it into a few words, naming it and featuring it. If it is true that acceptance of what is in the face of all other ills is the greatest gift of the spiritual journey, then that gift must come with our singing and dancing and living completely and deeply into our days, that we may go on as fruit for those who come next, just as was done for those who came before us. Look around, my friends. Look around as life blossoms all about us on this very day, right now. Again, I ask, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Tell me in just a few words, and let's begin.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in hymn number 331, Life is the Greatest Gift of All.
To get out your checkbook, dig through your pockets and purses. There is a special community collection today. Begun in 2004 as a student thesis project at Brown, Farm Fresh RI has grown briskly to capture the public interest in locally grown food and translates this into sales for Rhode Island farmers and producers. Strongly mission-driven, Farm Fresh achieved 501c3 status in 2007 and today continues its mission to grow a local food system that values the environment, health, and quality of life of the farmers and eaters of our region. We do this by offering markets and transparent enterprise systems that help New England farmers, fishers, and food producers reach more customers and reduce waste. And we work with the community through outreach, incentives, educational, and hunger relief programs to increase the accessibility and affordability of fresh, local foods. You can see farmfreshri.org for more info. Remember, the good work of First U is possible only by your great generosity. Thank you for all you give, all that you do, and all that you are.
Some bright morning, and this life is old, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning. When I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have gone, I'll fly away. Like a bird from these prison walls, I'll fly. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning. When I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. Oh, how glad and happy life may be. I'll fly away. No more cold like shackles on my feet. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning. When I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joys will never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning. When I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. I'll fly away. I'll fly away.
And now the invitations. Official notice number 2 from the high pulpit. The First Unitarian Church annual meeting will be held Sunday, June 4th after worship in the parish house in the upstairs auditorium, where we will vote on the budget, the new officers on the board, etc. All voting members want to be there, and even non-voting members will want to get into the lively discussion and share your thoughts. Please plan to attend. That's not next Sunday because we're not here, but the one right after. So stay tuned. The Art Collective. Haven't you seen what great stuff they've been putting up lately too? Really, my hat goes off. The Art Collective is excited to announce its new exhibition by members of the Rhode Island Threads group. The opening reception will be held this Thursday May 25th from 5 to 7 in the atrium where the new art will be displayed. All are welcome. And this is a personal invitation as well as a church invitation. Now, you know, when we come back, we have the annual meeting, and then the next Sunday we have the flower communion, and that's when we're typically done. But as a bonus this year, on the next weekend, Rhode Island Gay Pride, or Pride Fest 2023, will happen on Sunday, the 17th of June, Saturday, the 17th of June, and it's a day-long thing. It starts with a worship service here at First U at 10:30, where all the other UU churches and all the other interfaith churches are invited to join us. The Rhode Island Gay Men's Chorus will be singing. We will celebrate Pride, honor those who came before us, head off to the festival where First U will have a booth and t-shirts made by our own OWL and youth group program. And then at night, if you're still up for it, there's the illuminated parade where we'll have lanterns and glow sticks and all kinds of things. It is a day-long celebration like no other, but it starts with worship right here on the 17th at 10:30. I would love to see all of you there. Please put your hands over your hearts in namaste. I bow to the divine in you. My friends, go in peace. Walk in the ways of truth, justice, and love. Let your living bless the world. Amen. Be well. Be better. Take care.
Please join in the unison chalice extinguishing in your order of service.
We carry the flame of peace, love, and hope until we meet again. Let us pause in life pleasures and count its many tears, while we all sup sorrow with the Lord. There's a song that will linger forever in our ears. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis a song, the sigh of a weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my